Hi, welcome to SBR Videos. I'm Peter Loshak. This is a college basketball ATS update for Kentucky. Today is February 13th. Kentucky, of course, is the clear-cut top-ranked team in the nation. They're undefeated as of February 12th, and barring injuries, they just seem like a lock for the Final Four this year, and it's kind of hard to imagine any team beating them in the finals. Against the spread, though, the market has clearly caught up with them, and they now have a losing ATS record overall on the year. They're 11-13 against the spread, and they've lost their last 5 games in a row against the spread. So a bet on Kentucky is certainly not something you want to be automatically leaning towards doing at this point in the season. Right now, it just does appear that the grind of the season has worn down on them a bit, and as their market odds have adjusted upward, they've become overvalued. Also, forward Trey Lyles was out for 3 of those 5 ATS losses, which hurt their depth a little, and they did just miss covering in this current ATS run by relatively small margins, so they could easily start to have line value again at any point over their remaining games. It really just depends on where the lines come out. They beat Florida by 7, but they were an 8-point favorite. They beat Alabama by 15, but they were a 19-point favorite, and they beat Missouri by 16, but they were a 17.5-point favorite. So obviously, small adjustments to their lines back down a little could put them in a position to start covering again. And a similar turn also happened with their totals. They've gone over in each of their last 5 games as well, after being a strong undertrender all season long before that. But again, the lines were key. 3 of those overs went over by less than 4 points. So with Kentucky, it's tough to forecast where they might have a betting value on or against coming up. The market does seem to have a pretty good read on their numbers, and it's a matter of where the lines open and where they move. With regard to totals, South Carolina, Tennessee, and Florida have all been undertrenders on the year, and each could easily wind up in a super low-scoring game with Kentucky when they meet later this year. So I would keep that in mind when those games roll around. But again, it depends on the line, and the market has set Kentucky totals against other low-scoring teams very low. They recently had a game against Florida where the closing total was 117, and that game went way over, even though the final score was, as expected, very modest. As far as spreads are concerned, the South Carolina game on the 14th might actually be a spot to bet on Kentucky to end their current ATS losing streak. South Carolina has been awful against spread in conference play. They're 1-10 ATS over their last 11 games, and they'll be so outmatched against Kentucky that we might see a final score along the lines of Kentucky's home game against Missouri earlier this year, where Kentucky won by almost 50.